What up guys, it's Tanner here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over the official tier system that I made up by yours truly of the Forpiece, the Great Voyage. This is my official tier guide that I'm making. I do have a little bit of merit. I'm playing on server 1054. Currently number 2 in cross server, sitting at 3,772,000 power. I'm about 1,500,000 less than the top guy. I'll throw some pictures up on screen here. But so I think I have a little bit of merit, but we're gonna get right into this. First up, we're gonna go over the tiers here. I have SS. This is the best of the best units you could possibly get. These are gonna be kind of pay-to-win units, harder to get. Definitely gonna be worth picking up if you do spend a little bit of money on this game. Top tier, this is going to be free-to-play units that you can get, just by summoning or in the Great Summon Shop by using blue crystals. So it's considered still top tier units. These are going to be usable units. These are going to be units you're going to use, if you can't get some of these top tier units yet that you pick up in late game. Placeholder units, these are going to be basic units. Free-to-play units are pretty attainable that you're going to use as placeholders until you level them up, and you replace them with usable or top tier or even SS units when you pick them up. And then food, this is going to be units you're not going to want to use. Put them aside, keep them, use them for food for upgrading your other units. So first up, we're going to go over Sabo Lucy here. Let me put him up. Sabo Lucy, he's pretty usable. I wouldn't say he's top tier, I'd say he's usable. The reason why I'm putting him here is because for his job, what he does it well, but there's other units that you can use that are just much better that do the same thing that he does, because as far as he's a good unit, you can upgrade him. He's got 4 abilities, so you can 10-star him, but he is supposed to be an assassin, and for an assassin role there's better options that provide CC. Next up, we're gonna go over Law. Law's a pirate unit. He's a support unit. He's pretty good. I would say he's more usable. Definitely in the usable tier for a free-to-play unit. He is attainable. He's harder to get for not being a top tier unit, I think. The reason I'm putting him here is because he's supposed to be a buffing support healer unit. He puts people to sleep, he heals your team, buffs them for an attack buff. He's not a solid enough healer on his own, I don't think, unless you're running 2 healing support units. So it considers what you plan on using as far as your team crafting, which are going to be a different video. I'm going to go over some of the top tier units, but in this game, crowd control units are the best, and he doesn't have that much crowd control. He just has a sleep, and he's kind of an all-rounder, so there's better options. So next up, we're gonna go over L. He's a sort of basic unit you get at the beginning. He's a placeholder, he's a mage, and as far as he's just an all-around damage dealer. He kind of just hits everybody, but he doesn't have that much utility. I use him as food actually, but you can use him as a placeholder unit until you get some of these more usable or top tier units. So for that reason, I'm going to put him as placeholder. Bellamy, definitely food. I don't see a use for him. You get him a lot, but you can max him out to use him as food for upgrading the units to 12 and 13 star when you need a 10-star unit in order to upgrade them. He's just a damage dealer all around, doesn't really do much. Kid's pretty decent. I would put him as a placeholder unit because late game he just falls off. He's a damage dealer, but there's other damage dealers, kind of same thing as Anel. He's a better version of an Anel. It's basically how I would rank him there. If you're going over, man, this guy, I use him as food, but I'm gonna put him down here. He's a pirate. I don't even remember his name because I don't use him that much. The fortress dude. I know who he is. Let me pull him up. Becky. That's who he is. He does exactly what Kuma does. He's just a not as good version of Kuma. I used him at the beginning because I had him, and then he was just trash. So I ended up using Kuma. Next up, let's see. We have this dude. I consider him food. I found him. Drake. That's his name. Dragon. Drake. Oh yeah, yeah. He's a damage dealer. You know, he hits everybody in a line. He's kind of situational. I don't think he's very good. I use him as food because he is a pirate unit. And if you play any pirate units like Law, you can use him as food to help upgrade. Personally, don't think he's very good at all. Don't want to spend too much time talking about him. Ace. I think Ace is usable, but I'd say he's maybe more of a placeholder unit until you can get, you know, better version of him as far as a support unit. We're gonna go over Perona. I think Perona is very much food. She's just a support unit. There's better support units out there that do what she does better. All around, not very good. Robin, I haven't really used Robin too much. She seems like she would be a decent unit. I'm gonna put her in placeholder just because I don't see her a lot in ladder, and maybe if someone wants to build her and experiment with her until I see her, I'm putting her in a placeholder unit or even food. I just personally use her as food. Never wanted to build her. Jinbei, let's see. This is my boy Jinbei. This is the pirate Jinbei though, not Emperor Jinbei. And so for that reason, I'm gonna put him in a placeholder unit because he's just kind of a tank. But there's better tanks that do, you know, shields for your team like Kuma, who are just all around better. This is Pirate Luffy, same thing. I'm gonna go as a placeholder unit. I don't think he's very good. The pirates are just kind of underwhelming. I mean, Straw Hats are just kind of underwhelming. I was saying pirates this whole time, bro. Straw Hats are just kind of underwhelming in general. Until it comes to Blackblade Sanji, he's actually fucking really good. For that reason, I'm gonna put him as a usable unit because he's free to play. He's pretty decent. I'd maybe even put him in top tier just because of the sheer amount of damage he can burst out. Especially when you got a good team buffing him, as he's a pretty good damage dealer, like almost on par with Kaido. I've been against a guy that has been whooping me with him, but now I can beat him consistently because I have more crowd control. But he's a really good damage dealer, and he has some crowd control with burst. Next up, we got Zoro. Zoro, this is I'd say a placeholder unit, if not food. He just does damage, does some CC, all around, just not a great unit. Next up, we got Chopper. Sorry, Chopper, I love you, Chopper, but you're not very good. Support unit, kind of does some healing, but there's much better options for healing and support units out there, like Law, like, you know, even where is he? Ace, you know. Some of these other units out there. Next we're gonna go with Brook. Brook, kind of a placeholder unit as well. Not very good all around. Food, sorry Usopp. Damage dealer, doesn't do much. Does AOE, but he's kind of like a jack of all trades. Does some CC, but not very good. I use him as food. Frankie, food. Sorry man. You're supposed to be an assassin, burst damage, single target damage user. Just doesn't do much all around. Blackbeard, kind of a placeholder unit until you get someone better. He does damage, but there's better damage units out there. Maybe I wouldn't even say usable because I don't see him around. Boa, definitely usable. I wouldn't say she's top tier, but she has pretty good CC and healing. Kind of does what Law does. So I'd say they're kind of interchangeable. I use her as a supportive unit to my main healer for a while. Doflamingo, definitely a top tier unit. He's kind of hard to get. I don't know if you can get him very easily. It took me a little bit of time to get him, but he's top tier because of his crowd control. He's just a little squishy, but he dodges a lot. So if you build dodge on him, he's a pretty good unit, because he just causes the other team to not be able to hit you. And then when he does get hit, he dodges. It's just a very annoying unit. It allows you to beat people that are much higher power than you by crowd controlling them. So I definitely say a top tier unit, above Sanji. Next, you're gonna go over my boy Mihawk. I like Mihawk a lot in the anime. He's cool. In the game, he's decent. He's a damage dealing unit. Kind of tanky-ish. You can put him in the front line. He'll does some damage out. But I'd say he's a usable unit, but better options are out there. Ryuma, I think he's a top tier damage dealer. He's very accessible, easy to get, and very good late game. He has high amounts of damage and he can silence people, which makes it really hard for healers to kill him, and he always will hit the back line or the medium to back line, so you can rely on him to kill the healers that people like to put behind their tanks. Moria, support healing unit, I'd say a placeholder. Does the same thing that kind of that Boa does, shields and healing, damage on the other team, but not as good as Boa. Sabo, and then this is the Fire Fist, or not the Fire Fist version. No, this is Fire Fist version. I'd say he's a placeholder unit. He's a mage unit, kind of a better version of Vanel. I used to use him, but he's just not as good at late game. Lightning Cutter, I think is his name in this game. I don't even know what his name is. I use him as food. Sorry man, he's food. Kuma, I used Kuma for a long time. He's definitely a usable unit. For free to play, he's very attainable. Putting him up above, he's a tank, so I put him somewhere in here. He's very good for farming and Sky Dungeon Arena as well. Crocodile, I would say he's a placeholder unit as a tank until you can get Kuma. If you end up getting Crocodile, he's kind of tanky, does a little bit of damage, causes CC. Gion, I've never used her. I don't know if she's good or not. I haven't seen anyone use her yet. She's like unattainable in my server, and even in my cross server, I haven't seen anyone use her. Yeah, so for right now, I'm gonna put her as a usable unit because I know she's gonna be a premium unit, so that's why she's gonna be hard to get. Fujitora, I would say he's usable as a damage dealer. Probably around like above Mihawk and Sabo Lucy. Same thing with her, Gion. He's kind of luck based as far as his moves go, and so I haven't seen many people use him yet, but he's pretty decent when I was reading his abilities. Akainu, he's, I would say, a placeholder unit. He's a tank, but he's just is a damage dealing tank, but he doesn't do much for your team for what he does as a unit. Magellan, he's a top tier pay to win unit is what I like to call him, but I really don't think he's very good. They're gonna pay a bunch of money for this unit that's super premium, but he doesn't really do much. I personally used all my Magellan for food. Maybe I should have kept him for other events like the cross server duel, like Emperor thing. You have to have 3 different teams, but I'd say he's like a placeholder unit. Maybe he's usable. I put him in usable. Sengoku. I would say Sengoku is usable. Sengoku. I don't know if I'm butchering his name. Sorry, man. But I would say he's a usable unit. He's the support, healing, buffs your team. A pretty good unit all around. Tsuru. Is that how you say it? I would say she's definitely a top tier healer. Maybe even SS. Because she's one of the best healers. She is the best healer in the game, all around, hands down. But Kuzan is a healer. I'd say he's maybe usable, but on the lower end. Maybe even a placeholder unit until you can get to Suru. Because he's a healer, you can use him in conjunction with another healer and buff unit like Moria or Robin or Chopper. So I'd put him in a placeholder spot. Garb's definitely a usable unit as a tank. He does the opposite of Kuma. Instead of just buffing your team and healing them with shields and then counterattacking, he just counterattacks like a madman. But I would say that Kuma's almost better. It just kind of depends. He's harder to get, Garb, so I'd put him right in the usable tier. Kizaru, he's a mage, placeholder unit, I would say, because he just does decent damage all around. He's usable. I've seen him on people's teams. I just don't think he's that great of a unit. Sengoku, definitely a top tier unit. Free to play wise, just does a bunch of AoE crowd control on the enemy team. Will allow you to beat people that are much higher power than you. That's why I'd put him up here in this top tier. This is Emperor Jinbei. I put him as top tier. He's the #1, I would say, CC tank, even above Katakuri, just because of what he does. He's very expensive, hard to get. You can only get him on server events. Next up, we're gonna go up with Wano La, and I'd put him up here. He's a support unit, like damage dealing, healing support unit. He does like all around pretty good when you pair him with other CC units like Doflamingo, and he's a premium unit. You're gonna have to pay a lot of money to try and get him. He only comes in the server events. Marco, I would say definitely a top tier healer, support unit, better version of Law. So if you get Law and you end up getting Marco, I'd say definitely use Marco over Law. Top tier damage dealer, Luffy, Emperor Luffy, very good. But all around, I think there's better options if you're gonna go with damage dealing, single target damage. He hits everybody in a line, so he's good with like AoE teams. But I think there's better options, so I'm gonna put him in top tier. But on the lower end, Whitebeard, I would say it's the same thing. He actually pairs well with Luffy, because they both hit AoE, and he has like an execute when people are lower than 30%. He bursts people down, and then he executes, so they're kind of like combo together. It's Soul, Ace Soul, and he's got shield and attack up. So I would put him definitely a usable unit. I wouldn't say top tier. I'd say usable. Emperor Blackbeard, I would say definitely a top tier unit. He's just all around really good CC, AoE burst damage, very good. Shanks, top tier damage dealer. He does AoE. He's good. These three are actually good paired together. I would pair these three together, and then two support units like these three with like a Sengoku and like a Marco or something, or like a Emperor Blackbeard with a Marco, and that'd be a pretty good team. Next up, we got Burgess. Burgess is, Emperor tank. Better versions are out there. I'd say he's kind of a placeholder unit until you can get some of the better tanks out there, like Kuma or Emperor Jinbei. He's just not very good for what he does. Rayleigh, I like Rayleigh a lot. I think he's honestly kind of like right around what Ryuma does. He's an assassin, but he has some CC in his kit, so he's a pretty decent unit for CC. I'd throw him even right above Sanji, because he's a little bit more premium than what Sanji does. We have Robin, but this is the new version of Robin. She's from Robin New World. I actually haven't used her at all yet, so for now I'm gonna say she's probably gonna be a usable unit. I haven't seen her on my server, anyone's servers yet. If you use her, let me know where you would rank her on here. Nami, this is gonna be I think Nami New World as well, which she's a mage, damage dealer, but she's not even in our game yet. There's no way to get her, or I don't think you can even pull her. I haven't seen anybody use her yet. I would say she's probably going to be a usable unit. She does dot. The game says she does damage over time and true damage, so kind of like a better version of Usopp. I don't think she'll probably be that great, so we'll see if anyone uses her. Let me know. Kaido, this sexy beast is going to go all the way up to the top of SS tier. All around, I think one of the best, most broken units in the game right now. When he goes into his rage mode, he just absolutely destroys everybody. It's really sad because if you go against like Kaido, you know you're gonna lose, because it's like as soon as 2 of your units die, or 2 of their units die, and he has anything that brings him back to life, he's just gonna destroy your whole team in like 1 or 2 turns, critting like to the moon. It's insane. So definitely a premium top tier unit, very expensive to buy. Only way to get him is in events. Odahime, this is I assume going to be a very usable top tier support unit, but the problem is she kind of same thing as, you know, Robin and some of these other new characters. They haven't completely been added to the game yet. It's the only way to get them is in events, and I haven't seen anyone use her yet. I don't think she's been offered. Katakuri, definitely an SS tank. He goes right around Jinbei, I would say right under Jinbei, because it does what Jinbei does, just in a different way, by debuffing and buffing the team, and then doing AoE damage and increased damage to everybody, and kind of self-healing. And so he does a lot of CC, and I'd say he's just under what Jinbei does. Definitely a premium top tier unit. New World Zero. He comes out in events only. I've seen him once on my server. Top tier damage dealer. I would say, you know, definitely a better version of any damage dealer mage you're going to use that are in these top tier units. I would replace my Ryuma with New World Zero. I'm trying to build him, but he's a premium top tier unit. You can only get in events, so it's very hard to get, or in the capable shop. Last but not least, we got Nami. Definitely a placeholder slash food unit. Just she does AoE mage damage. All around, pretty decent unit. Placeholder slash food. So overall, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know about what you think about my official tier list, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you would do differently, if you would do anything differently. And if you would like to join the Discord for this game, let me know. I will link it in the description and as a comment down below in the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.